What's going on, guys? Need Boost Podcast. Belair here with the first player to ever grace the Need Boost Podcast. FiveUp. How you doing?
I'm good today. It's an honor to be first player on your podcast, so I appreciate you
It's
having me on.
I've had players reaching out just clamoring to try and get onto the
Yeah,
podcast. Fatira's like, dude,
Zen.
yeah, Zen reaching out.
Uh,
I was like, I
that's
can't.
fair.
I'm sorry.
You
I
get you got to prioritize the NA players
I
first, right?
sent a DM to FiveUp. He hasn't responded for several months. I hit him up probably once every 3 days. But I'm just holding out hope, and here we are. It's long
Yeah.
awaited. Unfortunately, we did wait until after the Cavs have been eliminated. I'm sure that we'll get there towards the end of the pod. But for anybody listening, um, I'm sure they probably know you. Pirates on a Boat, Moist, back to Pirates on a Boat, Akron University, 8 A tier events. Want to talk about a lot: CRL, RLCS. But as I was going through prepping for this podcast, I was trying to go through my personal history adjacent to the FiveUp experience. And I think the first time I ever recall hearing about you was JSU had tweeted once you got picked up, like, hey, it's been an honor coaching FiveUp for the last 7 months or
Oh,
something like that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that was with first class.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
do
he's a good friend
you
of mine.
and
Yeah.
he's a great coach. I've talked to him before, knows hoops.
hmm
We've talked some strategy stuff in the DMs. What do you remember about that early part of your career, whether it be the JSU piece of it or what have you?
Well, it was kind of just trying to like build up my threes experience because I was always just like a twos grinder at the time. I didn't really play six mans or tournaments. So Jathan, he's a sub for deleted right now. He was
Mm-hmm.
the person who got me into like RLCS. Like he DM'd me. We played like a twos tournament. We beat like Edge B and some other like rank X EU player in the finals, and we won. And so then we played RLCS and we picked up Deck, which is like a Hall of Famer bubble player.
Yeah.
And we were pretty good, but eventually Jathan like just decided he didn't want to play. So we picked up Buffy and we played in like a few draw events and like those off-season tournaments during that time. And then we played the RLCS. I think we got eliminated in day three. I can't remember, but it was a fun time being with Jasu too. I still talk to him often. I just played the league the other night with him, so
What's
it
your
was good.
preferred role in league?
I mean, probably bot lane.
Yeah. Like
I'm not the
ADC, or are
greatest
you a
player.
support?
ADC. I
Yeah.
mean, they made me play support because I'm like the worst because I don't play. But
It's
I
a
uh I did it.
it's too much pressure for me to do ADC. Back in the day, I haven't played League in years and years, but back
hmm
in college, I was a pretty solid Blitzcrank player. Really
Dude,
annoying
that's
to
who I
play
was
against.
playing.
Dude, going with the hook, knock him up. It's an easy 1-2 punch. Oh, that's cool that you
Yeah.
still have like the is it I've always just gone with the acronym like TRK, but is it JSU?
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
When you said JSU, I was thinking like a university until
University.
I like put it together.
Well,
But
since
yeah, I mean,
the
it's funny.
Jesu experience, he had talked about, and something that I have talked about when I brought you up in the past as well, is you've had one of those kind of rises into solidified, consistent A tier events. For anybody who might be listening out there who aspires to do something similar to the Five Up experience, was there a moment or a phrase or a switch that turned in your head from the beginning where you were like, oh, now I see, like something that led to a big steep bell curve for you? Was it more focus on specified things and like just your free play training packs, or was it a mental adjustment that was made? Or maybe I'm wrong looking at this as like, here comes five up on the come up. Maybe for you, it was just like very consistent steps up. But
hmm
like, how do you kind of view your rise within North America?
Yeah, I think on like first class, I always thought I was good enough to, at least play in events, and I just needed the proper team. So I got lucky that Andy and Toasty were for a third at the time. And I mean, I think I improved pretty consistently, but when I joined Moist, Noah, like our coach Noah, really helped me to just see the game like a different way. I guess you could say proper way. And I think since him, I was just improving a lot easier.
I
Yeah,
I
so
I don't
I'll thank
know.
him.
Oh, sorry to jump over you.
It's
Well,
fine.
I was just gonna to add to that. I was looking through, um, kind of the POAB experience, and I want to talk a little bit about the results in the future here. But for you within this roster, something that stood out that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about in the past is the CRL connective tissue. You, of course, University of Akron, your teammates, Creams and Hockey, Northwood Legends. um, is there, I could ask a long winded version of this question, but I'll try and just ask the simple version and you can take it whatever direction. Is there a difference between CRL and the RLCS? Obviously, there's a talent gap, like there's no NRG in CRL,
Hmm.
but are there any big differences in like the preparation or anything like that? Or is it kind of like,
Definitely. Definitely. People don't take CRL serious like at all, really, compared to RLCS. Like none of the top teams in CRL, they don't scrim that often. They don't like replay review. They just they kind of just play, you know. A lot of them they have their RLCS team and their CRL team. Like you have Speed, EXO, Relating Wave are a team, but then Relating Wave
Maryville?
Speed play with Arju. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just they're all worried about RLCS more so. CRL is kind of a side thing for all the top teams.
What has, how did the team come together? Is the CRL piece of it just, it's just how the cookie crumbled, or did you know Creams and Hockey like through the CRL
It's
kind
actually
of
an
pipeline?
interesting story. I mean, I knew them from when they were playing with Wavy. Like me and Wavy were pretty good friends, I'd say. And so I was just, obviously just competing against them, talking in VCs, I guess, every now and then in like different servers. But when I was trying out with Common Talk over the off season, and they had picked Evo, and I like, well, before they picked Evo, I went to the Apex LAN, which was the one at Lethamir's house in
Yeah.
December, and Krims was there, and he was saying like, if they pick Evo, then just come team with us. So that's what happened, pretty much.
That that tech roster was really interesting. I thought that that was a team that could have, the results did not match what I think the quality of that team
Yeah.
is. Of course, like we just see like the whole talk situation where he ends up finding a roster at the end with SimTalk plus one. They
Hmm.
actually miss out on top 16 for the final open, which is a bummer. But I still feel like Com is the kind of player who could like give a team some juice.
Yeah.
I
I agree. That's why I was liking playing with him, scrimming with him, everything. I think he's a very good player.
and
And
then there
it's just like a bummer that he sat out this split because I don't think that's going to help him at all.
I agree. Now he's done. Now he just has to retire. There's nowhere else you can go.
It's over.
Hey, I gotta say, we're having this podcast go. You know who, I'll call him out. You know who has not responded to me asking for them to be on the
Hmm.
podcast is Wavy. What's
Oh,
going on,
really?
Wavy? I reach out.
I don't know. He probably just
I
hasn't seen
wait.
it.
I wait an appropriate amount of time. I reach out again. Say, hey man, you ever want
Actually,
to
you
come
know
on the
what?
podcast?
He's actually awful at responding to messages. Yeah, you have to add him. Like if you're messaging him on Discord, you have to always add him because he's in Do Not Disturb.
That sounds
He just
like an
won't see it
excuse, Five
otherwise.
Up. It sounds like an excuse. You
I
don't need to
mean,
cover for him. He's, he's done this to himself.
yeah,
And you know what? Now I'm never going to have him on. Now I am going to have Zen on the podcast after you. He's done this to
yeah,
himself,
that'd be nice.
Well,
You got like me and then like what's that?
it's, there's a gap, and then it's probably through the floor to where we're going to find Wavy after this. He's hurt my
Yeah,
feelings. I got to be honest with you. Well, you talked about that, the Apex tournament. Um, it reminded me, I had tweeted at the time, where something that you see in like NBA basketball is there will be the Olympics and all these players come together, and then there's all these tendrils of like years later the players who are on the Olympic team end up teaming up together because of that time they spend
yeah,
together. Apex seemed like one of those cool events where it's like, look at all these guys get together. Or even Bluegrass
yeah.
Boost, that was an
It's great.
actual LAN as well.
Hmm.
What do you make of those experiences. Like, how was time at the Apex? Which before you one I didn't it overlapped with the
The World
major
Cup.
World
It
Cup.
was the
That's what it
or
was.
yeah, the World Cup because like Gen G was there and they were Team USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one
But how was the
because they were
Apex?
cheesing Magic supposed to go, but it was a lot of fun. It was definitely the most fun I've had playing Rocket League ever. Maybe just being there with all those people you talk to online and meeting them in person. It's like it's a lot of fun. Just hanging out with them, seeing Chief Beef, who's a goofy guy. Good friend of mine though, and he was fun to hang out with. Wavy as well, and Creams. Even Kevin, like the guy who qualified. Play him in like ranked every day, and then you meet him. It's like, huh, it's weird to like meet someone outside of Rocket League. Just actually get to see their personality.
Yeah, that's what this experience right now has been weird for the listener. We're actually FiveUp. You're sitting right over there. We're in the same room right now. But we just had to keep the podcast format. It is weird to do it in
Yeah.
person. No, but I do think that those are cool events. And I just talked to Corelli on the podcast recently, and he was talking about the space that JamesBot has. And he has
hmm
the Ascend or Ascension. I don't want to get the name
The
wrong.
Ascension. Yeah.
The Ascension coming up soon. And it's cool to see events like that happen. It even ties
Yeah.
into something like I was just talking the other day where um, like teams like Godfidence and Amethyst are doing really well on Sam, and it's like, oh man, like it's just a shame that there's not much money in the scene. I know that you guys are in a similar spot where Poab, you guys have been just kind of
hmm
hooping for the love of the game here
yeah.
for a little
Just
bit.
hoping you can make it, I guess. I mean, for me personally, I can say like I think I have the potential or maybe even the skill already to make majors and stuff. So it's like, why? There's no way I'm giving up, right? I gotta achieve that. I can't just give up, even if the game's in a bad spot.
Do you think the game is in a bad spot?
Currently the esport, I think so, yeah. But I mean, I think it'll go improve again. I think it'll big boom, hopefully. That could just be me like just being dumb, just hoping for the best, but I truly believe
I,
that it will improve.
I do too. I think it's and maybe I'm blind to it in the same way that you are, where I just look at Rocket League and it's such a unique game and product
hmm
that it's like, how could this not kind of go
Yeah.
well? You know what I mean?
And like
Um,
everyone's always talking about how great the esport is. Like just it's fun to watch. It's easy to watch as well. For a gamer, I guess.
do you do you split your time between games? This is a bad question. Let me back out because I have another direction that I want to hit it from. Because when I was thinking about this, setting up for this, I was talking to my partner and I told her I was like I want to make sure that I have good questions, like obviously, and she
hmm
was like, "What are the questions that you would want to know the answers to if you were watching FiveUp on another podcast?" And I said, first off, he's not on another podcast, he's on this one. No, but I was thinking to myself, one of the things when we were figuring out our scheduling was you of course have scrims, you have RLCS, you're going to
hmm
play golf. And how do
Uh,
you find, is it challenging to find the time to balance everything because you have RLCS, you have CRL,
hmm
you are streaming, you're playing ranked, you're probably training outside of the ranked jungle as well.
Yeah.
You're trying to golf in school, spending time with friends. Is it a difficult needle to thread with like how you spend your time?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, most of the time you just go without, you know, the outside world, I guess. You're just so like buried in the game. Like you just want to perform well. And I don't know. Though, I mean, I went golfing just because it worked out. I don't go golfing often. Maybe I'll go more though, since RLCS is off season now for me until LCQ. But yeah, I mean, it's tough, especially when you're coming up, like trying to catch up to the current pros. It's like you have to make sacrifices if you want to get to that level. It's just the truth.
Do you feel like How do you, when I had Greg on the podcast, I was talking to him about goal setting as a coach for a team because there's only so many teams similar to the NBA. There's only this year we actually have quite a bit of parity where there's quite a few teams who could hypothetically win the whole thing, but in the RLCS, there's only a handful of teams that feel like yes, we can win a major, we can win a world championship. You
Hmm.
obviously take the game very seriously, have big aspirations, want to continue improving, believe in yourself and your team. I would assume, maybe I'm wrong, that you don't come into the season with Poab and you're like, here we go, boys, we're going to win a major. But at the same time, you want to be as competitive as possible and not put yourself
Hmm.
below the threshold of your belief. How do you go about goal setting as an individual, and how do you think about it as a team? Are you thinking, look, we just want to like make main event, we want to make top 8, or are you going into these like we feel like we can actually win this thing?
Well, personally, the first thing for me is, make top eight. Once you're in there, it's like you just take it series by series. Game plan for whoever you're playing. Hope you're not playing NIG, and then you just go from there, I guess. As a team, though, as a team, though, I mean, you have to go into every series with confidence.
Yeah.
Like even if you're playing the best team in your region, you have to go in like they're not untouchable, right? They're human. They can make mistakes. You can beat them. You know, you wouldn't be in that series if you weren't capable of beating them. So, I mean, you have to be realistic. You can't just go in saying your opponents are awful. It's gonna be easy, whatever. Like, it's hard to beat top teams. Everybody knows that. So you kind of go in with like a balance of we're better and they're great. They're gonna make great plays. Sometimes Daniel's just gonna slot a musty top left. There's nothing you can do about it. Other times it's like you might do the same, right?
Some of them you just got to give to them. I
Mm-hmm.
because we even see with Dignitas, they just overcome Carmine Core where
Mm-hmm.
game 1 it's a 4 goal deficit and you're like, okay, well this is just going to be another Carmine Core. But then here come
Yeah.
Dignitas crawling all the way back. I mean, even you guys, you have an up and down season. Of course, you guys narrowly miss out on Open Six, top 16 here, but at the same time, you make a top 4, and you have probably one of the best series of the entire season in a 7 gamer against SSG. How do you
Mm-hmm.
look at the season overall? Is it successful for you?
Uh, Definitely not. For me, my goal was to make at least a major. So missing out on an event is definitely a failure in my eyes. So it's tough, but I think it's what's the word? It's impossible. It's not going to happen. So I mean, I just got to deal with it and keep grinding, make it better for myself. I mean, obviously having the one event where we beat NRG and then played SSG, that was like it was a lot of fun. So I just wanted to get back to that. So it was just tough that we didn't get the opportunity to.
Is it more motivating or defeating? I suppose you're early enough in your career where you're still chasing certain benchmarks and objectives that you have for yourself.
Hmm.
And I think about this concept from traditional sports where a lot of players like Chris Paul talks about it's worse to lose than it is fun to win. Like,
Yeah, I could get behind that.
do
That
you
makes sense.
feel like let's go ahead and talk about Open Six because you guys miss out on it, play some tough opponents. I feel like the losses were you guys beat CMK, who made a top 16 last time around, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Hmm.
but you lose to SSG, who you guys have played tight all season long. You've gone 5 with them several times. The boys, who are just kind of shot out of a cannon here. It feels like
Yeah.
Novo and Aqua have finally just like figured out a way to put the puzzle pieces together here. And then what's up? Can you take me and the listener through the mindset of going through that. You talk about once you make like playoffs, it's like you take every series one by one, but does it, your objectives are so high, does it creep into your mind as you're getting into round 4 and round 5 like, oh my gosh, like we might miss out here? Or is it just like, no, we like have the faith that we're going to make it? Like, I feel like mental is a really big part of the RLCS experience. Like, how were
Mm.
you going through that open six quals?
Well, I've almost missed the regional a few times now, going to like game fives or having a reverse sweep, whatever. Did it last year with Moist. And then like I guess the past two regionals, we'd made it through. It always worked out for us in the end. So the once we got down 2-0, and then we came back and we slammed them like 6-2, 6-1, something like that in the third game. And I was like, oh, we're gonna be good. Like we're just gonna do that two more times. And then, the clock starts ticking, you're down 1-0, down 2, and it's like, it's actually gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's hard to deal with. Like I was just thinking like, man, this sucks. Like we're gonna be all over like Twitter, Reddit, whatever everyone's be trash talking us, whatever.
I
And
feel
also just like watching your peers play, LCS when you're not playing is tough, I imagine.
that's got to be a hard a hard place to be, especially because it's the last event of the season. Like you said, there is LCQ, which is kind of this, something still to look forward to.
Question mark, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess there's I guess if you have to like glass half full it, there's no shame in the teams that you guys lose to. I mean, even What's Up, who aren't household names, that's that
Yeah, they're a solid
expert
team.
jazzy Devo
Mm-hmm.
team,
Devo. Yeah.
young up and comers, and I think it just speaks to like there's obviously the big debate always. It just permeates over the esport, but Europe versus North America. But North America, I feel like there's been so much volatility and there's so many teams. You have your NRG, your Ultimates, there's a couple teams there, but then there's this very, very wide middle group where you could kind of see anybody kind of go up and down. Um, there's not really a question attached to that. So let me ask you, who are the teams that are the most fun to play? You guys always play a team like SSG close. Are there any teams where you're like, oh hell yeah, this is like
Well, I like playing RG just because they're a very good team. I think it makes us better. I think it makes anybody better when you play a team that good. I mean, I don't like playing SSG because they bump an insane amount. At least Kofor does. It's very annoying. But yeah, we still play them very good, so I guess I would say I enjoy it. I enjoy an intense series. And then I guess maybe like Team Evo, just to like throw a random team out there because they're a weird team. That EU Unk ball, just just
this
random.
the speed relating wave Arju Unk ball. Did you know that Kofor currently at this point in his career most demos per game of any player who's over 100
Yeah,
games played?
I heard about that.
That's
It's actually insane. Like he demos a lot. Like we scrimmed them a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and he was demoing so much that we like thought they were trolling. He would like demo you, turn around, spawn demo you, turn around, demo your teammate, and while Scribbles and Review are like dribbling at you, doing whatever.
You gave
It's
it right
insane.
back though. When you guys played that 7 game series, you had the most demos of anybody in the lobby.
Yeah, I mean at that point you're kind of just like running around, like trying not to get demoed. You're like, if I demo them, they can't demo me. So it's like just keep moving. Maybe you get a crazy scam redirect while you're on there in their side. That's
Is
kind of how I like to counter that type of play style.
just give it right back to him. Well, you talk about scrims, and this is another one of those questions that I've always been curious about because I know when we head into majors, it's like scrims mean nothing. Is
Hmm.
that is that true? Do scrims mean nothing? That seems
No, that's
unfair,
definitely not
right?
true.
There's definitely something where you're like, okay, like we're getting rolled every time we play
Yeah,
ultimates or
well, scrims
whatever,
mean nothing because we warm up scrimmed ultimates and we were playing them very well. Like it was very close games. I think it was 3-2 us. Like we beat them.
Yeah.
And then we go out and we miss the regional. So it's like, what's it matter? We didn't play good enough. we played great in the scrim, and it was the same thing. The first regional of the split, we went out top 16. We warm up scrim Gen G, and we slammed them, dude. It was like 6-1, and I don't think Gen G has ever been slammed like that before in a scrim. And I was clipping on them. I posted it on Twitter. You might have seen it, right?
I have.
But yeah, I mean, we were scrimming NRG so well in the transfer window, like after the first major, that Sathu was like DMing our coach and complimenting us on how good we were playing. And it's like, I mean, you can play great in scrims, you can get rolled. At the end of the day, it's just scrims, you know. But at the same time, it's like you do have that thought in the back of your head. Like if you destroy a good team in scrims, you're going to be more confident. Just it's normal.
Is does confidence ebb and flow based on the series or more on the day or more on the open? Like if you go into open four scrims and you're like, man, I'm really feeling it, does that carry consistently throughout the event? Or is it sometimes like you're in Swiss and against the boys you're cooking and then against SSG you feel like you're off? Like how
hmm
consistent do you feel like your those flow states of playing well go?
Well, for me, I think it's a kind of a day thing. Like yesterday, I thought I was playing very good, at least mechanically. Like I was hitting a lot of nice shots. I was moving well. Car felt good. I think I was playing pretty well. And then like in Open 3, we beat NRG
Hmm.
in Swiss, right? That was our first series. And after that, we're obviously like very confident. So my car just stayed feeling good. And I think that's part of the reason we were able to beat SSG. It's just because of that
Is it
confidence.
is it frustrating to have creams on the field at the same time using disgusting car designs and boost?
So I think he has to Bacchus mod. Actually, I don't know how he does it. I think he at least Bacchus mods Alpha Boost, but I don't know about his decals and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty gross.
I have a lot of respect for just the, showing up. Ixo's another player, Justin another player. We haven't talked too much about your teammates yet. What is the Creams hockey experience? Because the way I look at it, Creams is kind of one of these microwave players. Like I even think back to when you guys go top four against SSG. He just hits these points where it's like, oh, Creams is just totally on fire right now, especially
hmm
offensively. And then I think it was either Nick or Greg. I can't remember who it was, but one of the coaches, I had asked them about hockey and they said something along the lines of like, when you watch hockey play, you see the whole game or
Yeah,
something
you see
like
the
that.
field. When you see the field, you don't see hockey. Something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. So what
I've
is
heard that.
what is the experience with them as teammates?
I mean, personally, like I think our relationship is what helps us the most. I'd say like we're all good friends. We joke around a lot. But I mean, when it gets time to be serious, we can also do that as well. It's like we get into replay reviews. We're not afraid to tell each other what we think. If someone's just like playing poorly in one scenario, like you tell them, and it's no hard feelings, right? It's all for the best.
Is that something
But
you've had to grow into as a player? Was it challenging to find
like
your
taking
voice?
criticism,
Yeah, taking criticism, giving criticism, being part of a kind of a team sport. I don't know if you played a lot of team sports growing up.
yeah. I mean, I just played soccer for like 12 years,
Yeah,
like 5 to 17, I guess. So yeah, it's harder to take criticism, I'd say, because as a younger like player, if you're a rookie or whatever, you usually don't have the highest amount of confidence. So for being told that you're like trolling a certain whatever, just whatever it could be, it's like it hurts a little bit, but it's not personal. It's just to help you. But giving criticism, I'd say, is a bit easier because you
that's
just want
easy. I
to
can give
you
criticism all day.
you just want to succeed.
Yeah.
So you'll do whatever to get it, I guess.
Well, I think that's I had talked about the boys and like Evo and Aqua and even Percy are just at this point in their careers where it just kind of you've figured it out, they've matured into it. I think that's like you said, probably one of the strengths of the POAB team as well, Creams in hockey have been around. They've done a lot of winning in CRL. They've had some great events and placements in the RLCS as well. And I feel like when I was looking at your Liquipedia, it seems you've had a great list of coaches as well. Like currently Eclipse, who even back to the endpoint days was
Hmm.
like putting up some numbers. Noah achieves, if I have my notes right.
Yep.
Jesu, not to be confused with a university. Um, what has been the impact that those coaches have had on you? And second part of the question, is it, I talked about Greg with this. Are they giving you specific feedback like, hey, you need to work on your backboard defense? Or is it, hey, you should find more confidence offensively? Like, how nuanced is the
It's
information?
it's both. I mean, most recently, it's usually stuff like slow it down in the opponent's corners, right? Don't dive. Don't just give them free balls. Don't bang it to them. If you're playing NRG, last thing you want to do is just give them the ball. You want to hold it. So it's usually stuff like that, tactical stuff. It can be mental stuff if they sense that's what you're struggling with, right? If your touches are just bad, it's just like they try to help you mentally, I guess, get you out of it. Most of the time it's tactical stuff. Like achieves, for example, he is the most tactical guy I've ever met. He would send us, me, Andy, and Eris, he would send us like paragraphs on scrims, every scrim, on what to do, like who we're playing. If we're playing Chicago Hawks or an LJ, he would say, "Watch out for Chicago. He's very aggressive. He's a bumper. He's the most demoed player in LRCS. You could bump him back." Hawks or I don't know, LJ, he can flip reset. Crazy stuff. I'm obviously under exaggerating it. Like I could probably go find my DMs with him, and it's crazy what that guy was on. He had this secret, which I don't know if I should be leaking it, but he'd like man to man defense in RLCS.
Oh,
Like FiveUp,
yeah.
you got beast mode. Andy, you got Daniel, and Eris, you got atomic. It's like you guys match up for whatever reasons, and then he would say, just like try to keep an eye on them. I guess
Yeah.
don't let them blindside you.
As
So
opposed to
he was,
like a zone defense in the NBA. Like we're
yeah,
picking up
like
man.
yeah, it was fun. It was a fun time. And
What's
then
a
no, I mean
Go
Noah and
ahead.
Eclipse are very like similar, I'd say, because they're both European. They had coached the same style
They're all
Rocket
the
League.
same.
They both had a lot of success in their old European teams. Like obviously Noah was with Joyo Raz Vatira, one of the most popular teams
Yeah.
in Rocket League. In Eclipse was winning regionals with like Seiko, Relating Wave, Metza, big time players. So I value their coaching and their philosophies a lot, I'd say.
What are you working on as a player?
Uh, I don't know. I think my biggest struggle is probably decision making. Like I think if I could just tighten it up, make it more consistent, I guess, then I think that's my how I make my next jump to being like an elite player, competing at lands and stuff. Because I think my mechanics mm, are better than people give me credit for. I
They're
think you,
okay.
you think mechanics. You don't think of me, right? You think of Zen, but like I'd say I'm pretty mechanical. Obviously, you can always get better and stuff, more consistent, but you can only do so much with mechanics.
How are you thinking about trying to improve that decision making and the mental piece of it?
You kind of got to make it muscle memory in scrims, tournaments, whatever, even in ranked. You just have to think about what you want to improve upon. Like if you want to improve upon like fake chowing, when the opponents have 100 boosts, right? Like fake chow, go back wall, whatever your teammate forced for you. You literally have to think about it. Like you have to ingrain it. It's like learning new binds or whatever in a different video game. It's like, okay, now I have to press T to, use my ability. And it's like, I'm not used to that. You just have to ingrain it in your muscle memory. And that's just hundreds of hours, I guess. maybe even thousands.
It's a
It
delicate
becomes second
balance
nature.
though, right? To try and make it second nature like you're talking about, because you want to be thinking, but at the same time you don't want to inundate
You don't want to
yourself
be
with so
thinking.
much thought that you're thinking the whole time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because that's even something there's a I just talked about it in a video, but there's this author named Malcolm Gladwell, and he had written this article about like high leverage sporting events, like the finals of Wimbledon or like big moments like that. And he was talking about the difference between choking and panicking. And choking is when
Hmm.
you're thinking so much where you're like, all right, it's a free throw. Like I'm going to dribble it twice and then spin the ball and then shoot. And panicking is actually like the absence of thought. It's probably very difficult to find the balance between like you want to be
Yeah,
focusing on improving fake chows. I guess that's what ranked is for, right? It's kind of the
yeah. I
stakes are lower.
guess experimenting and stuff, different strats.
Do you feel like twos has a lot of bearing on the RLCS? And when I ask that question, I mean like if you see that, you know, I'm sure in the RLCS there's some level of like you go up against NRG and you guys are one of the few who beat them, but you probably open up that lobby and you're like, oh man, beast
Intimidating,
mode.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Dan, Atomic. Is that gone in twos? Is there any level for FiveUp where it's like, oh man, Evil's on the other team. He's
Uh,
always top 10, you know?
it's really, I mean, EU players much more like when they come for Worlds because they're so toxic in ranked.
Yeah.
Dude, it's bad in Europe. Like Vatira, Monkey Moon, they're the most toxic guys in ranked. It's insane. They even quick chat like Daniel, like top players like that, or just like say stuff like you trolled, whatever. It's like in NA, it's not that bad. But yeah, the only one for me is like first killer Daniel. Like I see them on my team, I'm like, I gotta lock in. I don't want to like sell their points, right? I
Yeah.
see them on the other team, I'm like, I gotta lock in. I don't want to lose.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna make me work for this win because they're so consistent in twos, especially. But everyone else, I wouldn't say I get like any fear anymore. At least coming up, it was most pros, squishy muffins, whatever. Just because he's so popular.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Alpha Kep. If you're 1v1ing him, you put Q in ones. You find him. You
You're
don't
like,
want to
great.
lose.
I
You're just
know I'm
gonna
on
get
stream.
trash talked. Yeah.
Do you remember who the first pro you played was?
Well, I remember I actually have a clip of it on Metal. I played a tournament, in-game tournament in like 2021, and I was like GC2 at the time, GC1 maybe, and I just like solo queued a twos tournament, and I got Magic Bear on my team, and I just thought it was like the coolest thing. I think he was on Alpine at the time,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think he was the first one, but either him or Squishy for sure. Yeah.
Who do you feel like who are the most fun ranked teammates to get? Of course, Dan and FiveUp are like legacy or
The Ohio
first
duo.
killer. Yeah. Those are some of the names that are like, all right, time to lock in because they're so gross at twos. But are there any players who you see consistently where you're like, nice?
I mean, I was like getting LJ. Yeah, we're good friends. I know if I mess up, he's not gonna like hate me, right? And vice versa, which is like other people, it's different. I like getting I like getting reveal. He's also very good in twos. He's a good player.
Reveal and
Who
LJ, if
else?
you squint from a distance, kind of look kind of similar. Just saying. Just saying.
Their voices are not similar though. Reveal's still a squeaker.
The young guns, you know, him and Scribbles and all the guys. While you think, can I share
Yeah,
a story
that's
with you
crazy.
that I don't think I've shared
Yeah.
publicly? I had I try and do these things before a lot of the open qualifier like round ones where it's like excitement meter for like who the different
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I've seen
matchups
those.
are. And I had done one, and sometimes I'll take the extra step of like within the thread, I'll do like projections of like what I think will happen. And I had done one for the Ultimates, and I had projected that they were gonna win in like 7 games, and they ended up winning in like 4, and it was a clean sweep. I can't remember who the opponent was. And LJ's dad tweeted at me. He was like, "Try again," or like, "Better luck next time." I was like, "I'm sorry, LJ's dad. I'm trying my best, you know."
That yeah, that's funny.
But that was
I
a,
love
a really
I love when
impressive
it
event
hits.
from them. to like.
That must have been after we beat us. I think that was SSG when they swept them. That's the only one I can think of when they swept somebody in playoffs, was after we beat SSG and they played them in lowers. It's
I
the event
think
Gen
I
G
think that's
won.
exactly what it was. Actually, it was that matchup because I thought it was going to go
Hmm.
deep. They had just gone deep with you guys. How do your parents feel about RLCS? Do they get it?
Uh, yeah, yeah. My mother definitely gets it more than my father. My dad, he can watch the game. I mean, he doesn't really know much about RLCS, right? To him, it's like blinking lights, he says. That's what he says. Watch Rocket League. But my mom is, I mean, she knows like players now,
Mm.
and she knows like she'll be texting me mid-series, like, I think you got to demo them more, or something like that. What she always watches. She's a big supporter. But yeah, uh, they definitely support me. I mean, no, to a fault. You know, coming up, it was like keep your grades up when I was in school. You know, make sure you're not just staring at a screen all day. You got to go outside. You know, see people, whatever. But once you start making money, placing well, you're on like a mainstream. You go to a few lands or whatever, and they see the gravity of it all.
Yeah.
It changes slightly.
How many lands have you been to at this point? Bluegrass Boost,
Well, CRL
Apex,
lands are the only ones I've been to. I've been to, or yeah,
if you
Apex.
count Apex. Yeah.
Apex, two Bluegrasses, uh, a different land for CRL in Ohio, and then CECC, which is like CRL Nationals basically, which was this past like 2 weeks ago in Texas. So five, and I've won four of them.
Hey,
I got second at the other one. I broke my streak, unfortunately.
how do you
I think
feel you are as a player in those LAN environments?
I think I'm a good LAN player. Like I can go to a different PC and I can feel just as good as I do on my main PC, which I used to be afraid about before I had ever gone to a LAN. Like I used to overclock my controller, which you can't do at LANs, like RLCS LANs. So I unoverclocked over the past off
Overclock.
season.
What do you?
Yeah,
I'm unfamiliar.
it's just like you get a program on your controller. It's basically so you have less input lag,
Oh,
input
okay.
delay from your controller. And I was like messaging people about it who I knew had tried it. Like Garrett G was like the main guy. I was always messaging him. He would be like, "Hey, you're still overclocked. I'm gonna do it." And I'm like, "Yeah, it feels good." He'll do it for like a week. He's like, "All right, I'm getting off of this. Feels horrible after a week. So inconsistent." So eventually, I just switched because there's no point if you can't do it at a LAN, and it's just a pain, And I felt fine ever since. So it's not worth it.
You bring up a player like Garrett. Have there been any pros who have been the most helpful or supportive outside of teammates, of course, within the scene who have been like, "Hey, I see what you're doing. Big fan. Like, keep going." Like, are there any words of encouragement that come into the
Uh,
five up DMs?
it's hard to say. I mean, Garrett, yeah, uh, I think he's always respected me because I don't know why. Maybe it's just my
Yeah,
personality,
I have no
my
idea.
gameplay.
I don't know
I don't know
why.
why, but I think Garrett has always been someone I can talk to, just asking questions, whatever his thoughts. Cheese as well. He's one of my best friends in Rocket League, and we talk a lot. I think he gives me valuable input. He's obviously a top player now in North America, so I take his opinions, you know, pretty well.
What do you I saw recently you and Cheese in talks Twitch chat after a 2v2 matchup, and Cheese seemed pretty competitive about the whole thing.
Yeah, he's funny. He's just a troll, dude. He's such a troll. In that, especially in that environment. I mean, he's very competitive in RLCS. Like when they beat Ultimates, he's like
Yeah, the dancing
rapping,
gift. Yeah.
going crazy. Like he wants to win so bad in RLCS, and then he does in twos as well. But when it's like the three of us, we're all great friends, and like I think I might know what you're talking about. I think Talk was playing like a viewer with a viewer or something, and me and Cheese were like, all right, let's snipe him. Let's just get some free points. Let's just troll him a bit. So we snipe him and like this 1600 like viewer, and we're just slamming him, like trash talking him, what a saving him when we're beating him. And Talk's just like, I hate you guys. It's funny.
It's it's interesting to see those interactions, and it made me think, is that the gateway to friendships? Does that unlock the teams, the players that you interact with in forming these RLCS rosters? Like Andy and Eris, does that come together because you guys play ranked twos a lot and then you're like, hey, let's queue together, and then you start playing? Like, what are the entry points to determining where your teammates are going to be from? Obviously, the Apex was kind of what formed the current
Hmm.
roster, but like, how do you go about meeting players within the
Yeah.
community?
Well, my first team, I mentioned Jathan already. We had just my first like formal teammate, I guess. We just met playing rank twos. Like we thought we played well together. We were queuing a lot. Like, hey, let's just play RLCS together. I think he already had a little bit of experience doing it. I was like, sure. So playing with him or whatever, you get better. And then Andy and Toasty, I apparently what Andy told me, the reason they wanted to try me out is because he got me in twos and I was like carrying him in like a good lobby, like two other pros. And he was like, okay, yeah, let's try him out. And then Toasty just like DM me on Twitter one day, and then it went well. They gave me the spot, and yeah, I got kind of lucky with that, I guess, just having Andy on my team, and I was playing good that day, and it kind of it got me in the door, you know. Then from that point, it's a lot easier. You make connections because there's this Rocket League server with a bunch of pros in it that Flitz owns, and because Andy is good friends with Flitz, I got into that server. So you can make a lot of connections and just friendships with pros, content creators, whoever's in there. Time. There's a lot of people in there, and making friends always helps. You don't want
Yeah,
to have enemies.
I tried to get into that server and got denied. They said they weren't looking for any champ ones, and I was like, all right, well, the offer stands. If you want to invite me back, let's let me know.
I mean, it's uh it's kind of more so just to get to know people, I
Yeah,
guess. I got to know, that's how I became friends with LJ and like Reddles and a bunch of other people, Chronic, I guess. But yeah, I mean, thanks to Andy. That's why. What was I gonna say? I forget. What was your like the second part of your question?
what was my question? How do those interactions come to be? You carry Andy, and that's what ends up unlocking the door there. Like,
Yeah.
how else are you making those connections with different
I
players?
mean, well, for other teams, I know other teams have formed just from scrims. Like, so when Frosty joined NRG, the reason he got that spot is because Garrett missed and whoever they were trying out at the time, I think it was Gyro. Like they scrimmed a team with Frosty on it, and Frosty just slammed them, and they're like, "This guy's amazing. We gotta pick up Frosty," and that's how he got that spot. So it's like if you do get a tryout, you gotta play well in it.
You got to
You gotta
make the
take
most
advantage of
of it,
your
because
opportunity.
that's that concept of like, you make your own luck, right? Like, you,
Hmm.
if you put yourself in positions consistently to kind of show up,
Hmm.
like the luck will find itself along the way. You talk about these different players, um, who have been on the come up, players who you run into in ranked. Are there any players within the RLCS currently that either are or are not household names that you feel like are underrated or undervalued?
Uh, well, I think the major teams, obviously SSG, everyone's starting to rate them because they've been placing so well this split. So like, forget about them. Obviously, they're good players, but outside of like the top four teams, I don't know. I always thought Two Piece was very good, and now that team has been having some trouble. Justin left, and now Justin's doing great. It's like it's a bad look on those two players. But I always rated Two Piece. I always liked playing with them, playing against him. I always thought he was one of the best players in NA,
Yeah.
like top 10 probably. And so it's weird. It's weird how that goes. Now people have gone from rating Two Piece to no longer rating him because of what Justin did and succeeding on a different team.
Well, if I can interject and get your perspective and share mine on Shopify for a second.
Hmm.
I feel like the thing for them is we already talked earlier about how mental is such a big piece of the RLCS experience. And maybe I'm wrong because I'm very far from being a pro player, but from my experience playing in, traditional sports at a high level or whatever, watching, consuming a lot of sports, it seems like you almost, if you keep the same core intact, you accrue this scar tissue, right? Where Two Piece and Parth have been just so close so many times. And you talk
Hmm.
about, like, I asked you about the What's Up series where you're like, were you kind of feeling it? I feel like that's a roster where you kind of feel it, right? Like you're just adding layers onto the same mental battle where it's like, we've been so close. Now we have to do better. Now we have to do better. And it's always kind of circulating in your head. You've had different rosters, so you haven't really built up that kind of calloused approach to the
Hmm.
game, or maybe you have. Maybe there were certain situations where, you can just never get top 8 or whatever, and you're like, man, we just can't do it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's a fair
Yeah.
perspective to have on that Shopify duo.
It's I think it's hard for them because I think the reason they've stuck, besides them being good friends and playing for whatever how many years,
Yeah.
is that they are like a top team in NA and scrims. Like they were slamming with Justin, and that's why they picked up Justin and stayed with him because they were so good in scrims, and they almost made the major. They said, okay, maybe this season like we just all perform very well. We iron out the little kinks,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I think Two Piece and Parth definitely should split up for the good of both of their careers. I think they can both be quite successful players, but I think they have to give up on each other
Because even
at
now,
this point.
they Reddles is sitting out for this Open.
Hmm.
Memory is back into the fold, the player they have before he becomes the coach and Justin comes on board. And I checked in just for a second just to see, and I think they were playing Flight in the qualifiers. Not that Flight is like, oh my gosh, it's like Wendamaiku's retired and like, but
Uh-huh.
they beat the pulp out of that team. Like they crushed them. And it's like, the talent's there. It's just one of those
Yeah.
things where I wonder how much that mental piece of it kind of creeps in for them time and time again.
Yeah.
I don't
I think
know.
one of the main issues with that team is that they have played the same pretty much for the past 2 years. Like they haven't really changed much.
Yeah.
They kind of just play as three individuals. One guy goes for the ball, nobody follows up. Next guy goes for the ball, nobody follows up. It's just a train, back and forth until eventually they get scored on because they have no boost.
Is from the outside looking in, I think a lot of fans, casual fans, more serious fans, what have you, probably look at the RLCS and they're just like, it's just playing Rocket League. I always go out of my way to consume comms videos when teams put them out because I feel like that is a pretty big piece of the equation.
Hmm.
Is that true? Are comms actually like a major factor in team success? Is that something that you have to intentionally work on, or would the results probably be pretty close to the same if you guys were all just like listening to Spotify while you played?
No, you need comms 100%. If Energy played quals without comms, I don't know if they'd even make the regional, honestly. Or maybe they'd probably make it, but I don't think they would get like a top four.
What else
All
is
the information that comes from comms is invaluable.
yeah.
If you're not interlinked, another pro team is just gonna take advantage of that. Like if you're all disconnected, I guess. Like if you challenge and like you double commit, I guess, because you don't know who's going.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're calming, you're like, I go, you're after me, you're third, whatever. Leave it, don't challenge, fake it, whatever. It's just you need that. You definitely need that stuff against good teams.
What else is undervalued that the fan watching at home might not realize is so impactful for the RLCS?
I'm not sure.
Because when I asked a similar question to Greg, I was asking him about the value of challenges and whether or not the viewer at home understood the value of like
Well, yeah,
how impactful
challenges
those
are like
are.
that, are like 50% of the game.
Isn't
If you
yeah.
have bad challenges, you're just gonna get wrecked.
No stats for it, really no way to track it, no way of
Yeah,
knowing
yeah,
who's
yeah.
good at who's good at
That's a good
challenges, who's
shout.
bad at them.
Yeah. I guess like boost steals as well. Playing pads, like, are you getting your boost stolen in your corners? Are you taking their boosts? Are you controlling the mid? But yeah, challenges are a very good shout because if you're just, forcing poorly, you're just gonna get scored on every single time. Or if you're not challenging at all, like if you just have two people on the back wall, nobody goes, they're just gonna go low. It's in your net, 10 out of 10 times, literally. So yeah, I definitely agree with that point,
Who
Mr. Greg.
I'll reach out and let him know. I'm sure he's listening. He he messages me all the time. He's like, "When's the next episode?" I'm like, "Dude, you need to calm down."
You gotta do
Um,
send first.
do you mind if I hit you with some stats real quick?
Sure.
FiveUp, you might have heard of him. Second in goal participation in North America for the season. Six in demos per game, top 14 in goals per game. You and Creams, 2 of 14 players who shoot over 3 shots per game. How would you explain FiveUp as a player to somebody who might not watch a lot of Pirates on the Boat?
I would say, mechanical, I guess. I would say smart. Consistent. I think I'm pretty consistent. I think that's one of my biggest strengths is like whether it's game 7 overtime or game 1 in quals of day 1. I think I'm performing the same, if not better, under pressure. I think that's one of my strong suits that I've improved upon from last year to this year. For sure.
I
Other than
agree.
that, I don't know. I guess I would say I have a good mental. I know it's funny coming from myself, but like, we missed the regional and I'm not like it's not I didn't like stand you up, like I'm still here, like I'm smiling, I'm having a good time.
You tried
It's not
to.
like I'm depressed. It's not like I'm depressed, I'm just gonna stop playing Rocket League. I'm gonna tweet like I'm quitting the T-Crawl cycle, whatever.
Yeah. It's it's tough because there's only so many events in the year, right? And I feel like when you're in it, it's almost like I've been thinking about this recently. You said you've been watching a lot of the playoffs for the NBA, and I have too. And you see a situation like the Steph Curry hamstring injury, and you're like, you don't realize how important and
Valuable
like
is.
well that, but also as an individual, how like precious the moments are. Like, how many playoff appearances do you really
Oh
get?
yeah.
You know what I mean? And like for you guys, there's only 6 opens a year or a season,
Yeah.
so
It's
it's kind
tough.
of like they are these like
It's like
precious.
that Andrew Bernard, uh, Andy Bernard quote. The Office. Have you ever seen The Office?
I have Nard
He's
Dog.
like,
What's the quote?
you don't know. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good days before you
Yeah.
left them. Something like that. That's basically it. That's how RLCS is to a T.
Are these the good days FiveUp, or are the good days yet to come?
uh, I think I think these are good days, but I think there's more good days ahead. Just from a stage of life point of view. Being young obviously is great. Your back doesn't hurt. But I think being 40, 50, you have a family, I think those are also good days. You don't want to look at it from a point of view as such like, oh man, I wish I was still 20. You know, you have to appreciate what you have in the present.
Do you not do you appreciate the RLCS? Do you struggle with the amount of time, energy, focus, and attention that is required to be at the top level of this game? Is that a difficult sacrifice?
I'd say it's harder than it used to be when I was like 14, 15, 16 coming up. Now I'm like in university and it requires a lot of time, right? To pass the classes. It's not easy stuff necessarily, but yeah, it's definitely not easy, but it's also it's like a choice you have to make, right? It's like Kyrie Irving once said, right? You have to be obsessed with it. He's like, there was like these commercials, whatever. He's always dribbling the ball, 24/7. He's at dinner, dribbling the ball through his legs. It's like you've made this choice, now you have to stick with it, I suppose, if you want to be successful, and you have to love it. So loving it helps you. It's not as hard.
Do you do you always love it? Do you ever battle with feelings of burnout or second guessing it or things like that? Or
Definitely, yeah.
how do
I
you
mean,
go ahead?
no, you can finish your
How
question.
do you overcome those feelings?
Well, I mean, it's hard for me personally because at the moment, you know, the only people who could be full time, make a lot of money from RLCS is the top four teams, right? It's hard to know, you know, if you're gonna make it, or say like in the one out of the 14 million timelines where you don't make it, maybe it's that one you're living in. It's like, did I just waste all that time? And I could have been doing anything else, whatever, you know. But for me, it's always like I just believe that I will make it, and I try to put the most amount of work in possible to make it happen. You know.
I think that's a healthy mindset to have about the whole thing because you at least have the advantage of I think before any of this, like first off you have to love it, right? Like obsession is a choice you have to make,
Hmm.
but I feel like there has to be this intrinsic deep down just like I enjoy playing the game, which I
Yeah.
feel like you have, but there's also the advantage. I was watching I don't make a lot of time, as much time as I wish I had to allot to SSA, APAC, Mina, even Sam to a certain extent. Like I was just watching Sam after Europe the other day, and I was just looking at all these rosters where it's like, man, you really got to love it because there's way less eyes, there's way less money, there's
Yeah,
way less
that's true.
orgs, and like there's some of these players like have been around the block for a really long time and they just never get the chance to make it to a major. There's less spots. One of them's always
Hmm.
Furia. Like I look at Card and Kaio playing on Reds, and it's like that's just
Yeah,
old school
it's
love of the
sad.
game. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah,
but you have that belief that you're gonna eventually make it to a
either
major.
the top four level or Rocket League's gonna go big boom, and it's gonna be 100 teams from NA go to the major, something like that. And then I'm already there, right?
Yeah. Hey, there's still
But
LCQ.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't see why I can't win that. Complexities. I, well, I guess technically we don't know who's making the major yet.
Yeah.
My, I'm just thinking ultimates, assuming ultimates. So then you just have complexity in like nine lives, I guess, that you're competing with,
Yeah.
and all the other like mid teams. But yeah, I don't see why you can't just pop off one day and win. It seems easy enough, right?
Have
Go
one
to
good day.
France. Go to France. Wait, you might as well win while you're there, right? You're already flying to France. You might as well win.
You've already been to Lexington though. Do you even really want to go to France? I mean, like, you know,
Yeah.
my whole family's from
Uh,
Kentucky. It's beautiful out there.
it's a nice place. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been to Texas. It's like, do I even want to go to
It's,
France
it's
anymore?
I don't know. Lyon is it's no Ohio, but probably a nice place.
You know what they say, Lyon is the Ohio of Europe. Um,
Yeah,
all right, let me ask you a little bit about the NBA. You you're in Ohio. I'm assuming you're a Cavs fan, which is very
definitely. Yeah.
fortunate. I'm a Bulls fan, and it's been a sad decade, I got to tell you. But when I was I'm showing my age here. When I was in high school, Derrick Rose won the MVP, and I was like
Hmm.
never leaving. Behind this closet right here, I have a whole bunch of Jordan memorabilia, like cards and hats and Wheaties
Hmm.
boxes and a bunch of stuff. The Cavs exit earlier than they want to. Tough series against the Pacers, who are probably better than we all thought. Congratulations, FiveUp. You're the GM for the day. What's the Cavaliers off season looking like?
I don't know, honestly. I think they're a great team, you know. It's it's probably just the younger players. Maybe they need more experience, right?
Hmm.
But if you're gonna like try to buy buy players. You just need plenty of money for that, I guess. Just like just keep the same roster. Honestly, that would be my move. There's value in not changing. There's value in having a bond, I suppose. I don't know what the NBA is like, obviously. Maybe all those guys just are playing for the $50 million contracts. Maybe they're playing because they like playing with each other, right? Not sure.
It was an excellent season. I don't know when the Cavs won more games in a regular season before
Yeah.
this.
I
And
mean,
then you
what? They
get,
were like 20 something and 0 for a while
yeah,
before they lost their win streak.
huge streak. It was going up against that like Miami Heat. They had like a 23 game win streak or a 26 game win streak back when it was the big three.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Who's your favorite player on the team?
Uh,
You seem like a Mobley guy.
I don't. I mean, I like them all, but for some reason, I like Jared Allen, low key, and I guess Spider, like Donovan Mitchell.
Underrated, Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
Elite guard, one of the
he's
deepest
great.
bags.
He's been like in playoffs like every year of his career or something like that.
He's pretty great. I like Garland. I thought he was undersized coming in, but he's improved. He had some injuries early in his career. He's bounced back. Had to wear the mask for a little bit. Got hit in the face. Hate to see it. Nothing you can do about that. Now he has the
No,
hand injury.
the mask is OP, like Kobe.
Maybe you should start wearing masks for RLCS.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I was thinking about doing something like that. Maybe they wear like a bandana,
Oh,
big neck, big chain.
that goes so hard. If you had like an NBA headband on,
Yeah,
did like
like
the
LeBron.
football tape or something. There's
Yeah, that'd
different
be funny.
options. Sunglasses.
I gotta
That's
do
what
something. I gotta besides going cross-eyed.
the, the classic GIF. I think I've been really impressed by Strictly Business, how Crispy always has like a group of people
Yes,
behind him. And I was
the
thinking
CRL
what they
people.
need to do is just every series they need to add one or two more people to the background of Crispy. And
Yeah.
eventually it's like 30 people,
Yes.
That's what I'd be
Yeah.
going for.
That would be
Um,
funny. But they're all just trying to get in their 30 minutes of sitting in front of the camera. I guess they had the one guy, the ginger guy with the
the
glasses, just staring at the
sunglasses.
camera the entire time. And I've met that guy. Like I haven't talked to him, but I've seen him in person.
Yeah,
And he does that. That's like his thing. It's always the sunglasses inside, just staring at the camera.
it's a good look. I got a lot of respect for it. Who do you think's gonna
It's
win?
funny.
Who's gonna win the playoffs this season?
I'm hoping the Knicks. I would love to
Okay.
see the Knicks win. I want to see New York burn, I guess. I just want to see everyone climb the Statue of Liberty, and I just think it's so funny, these like TikToks, whatever clips I'm seeing of people like talking trash on the
The
Celtics.
side talk videos on YouTube.
Yes. It's so funny to me.
Do you see the guy in the
And
Pacers jersey walking around 7th Street after they won? They're like
I
throwing
think
bags of
so.
trash at him and stuff. I was like, you bring that upon yourself,
I might
dude.
have seen
You
that.
can't be walking
Yeah.
around in a Halliburton jersey. What are
I
you
I
doing?
had an experience like that when the Cavs won the finals. I was in Dallas for like a soccer my brother's soccer tournament at the time. And so it was a bunch of Cleveland people, all the teams from Cleveland. Everybody was there, Cleveland, that we all knew, right? And we were
Yeah.
in this bar watching game 7. Or yeah, game 7. And there was one guy at the bar that had a Curry jersey on, and he was basically just getting, I wouldn't say harassed, but heckled. Say heckled the whole time. And especially when the Cavs won. It was funny.
That was the go-to battle for what, 6 years? Was it
Yeah, like
4 or 5
2015 to
seasons?
2019,
Was it
I
every
guess.
single final?
Yeah,
It's
that's
continuing to run
insane.
back. Well,
Good year for Cleveland.
I
Good couple.
uh I promised I wouldn't keep you too long. I'm looking at my notebook here to see if there's anything that I forgot that I really want to ask you. Um, what's been the highlight of your career so far?
I don't know, man. Well, I guess I would have to say one of the top fours I've made. I know beating Genji was nice. Like first Killer Chronic, Appjack. They were the second best team in NA at the time. Like, and we were boot camp for that regional, so I got to hang out with the team, and Luminosity's roster was there. So that was a really fun time. So either that or beating SSG. But I feel like I don't want to say beating SSG because it's like I don't know. It doesn't feel like a highlight,
Why not?
honestly. I don't. I really don't know. They just weren't playing that great.
Yeah.
That's just it is. I think literally that series is like part of the reason Frosty like isn't on that roster anymore. Genuinely.
I felt like I rewatched it, especially game 7. I felt like Frosty was playing very well. I actually felt like Scribbles is in
Yeah,
that
he was missing a
series
few.
was one of them where he had a couple big whiffs. Even this season, I felt like Scribbles in a
hmm
couple big game 7s.
The thing with Frosty is like he's to the untrained eye, I guess I'd say. He's just very mechanical, right? He double taps, he flip resets. He looks good, but if you ask like most pros, they'll say that Frosty was the worst on that roster.
Mm,
Like no disrespect towards Frosty, he's a good player, but it's just the how should I put it? I guess it's kind of like it was like the first killer effect. Everyone would always
very
say first killer like
heliocentric.
disables his teammates and makes himself look the best, right? It was
Yeah.
kind of like that with Frosty, where he would score, but then he would like cause them to get scored on. And, I mean, obviously, the roster move they made, getting Kofor, it's not crazy what I'm saying because now they have a new third and they're one of the best teams in the region. Yeah, they're great.
And it seems like I've been impressed by complexity as well. I think they're in a tough spot because both Frosty and Diaz are still trying to find
Yeah,
themselves as young players. Um,
definitely.
wh- what, where do you feel like you are in your journey as a player? They say NBA players around 26, 27 are kind of at like that prime peak. Do you feel like you are 80% of what FiveUp could be? 60%? Like,
Mm-mm.
how do you see yourself?
Uh, maybe like 40. Like I think I could make a land right now. I think I have the skill to at least make a land and go. Whether I go 1-3, 0-3, whatever, doesn't matter. I think I could get to the point where I can win one. So I guess that would be 100%.
Yeah.
So right now, 40, 50, you know, I think I can still improve a lot. I think I can also get way better results than I ever have,
Yeah.
you know. Like I don't know if there's a certain cap I would put myself on. It's kind of weird to say you think you could be like that type of player or whatever. It's like far fetched and it sounds very like egocentric, but
I
that's just what I think.
I disagree. I think it's the right mindset to have. It's even one of those things with like the NBA where every player has to think that they're the best player, right? In order
hmm
to instill yourself with that confidence. Um, I think that's a positive mindset to have, and I hope that that's a place where we end up seeing your career in the near future. Um,
Yeah, I think next season that's gonna be my one.
yeah, I'm excited
That's
to
gonna be
see
my
it,
season.
and at that point, we'll have to have you back on the podcast. And
Yeah, but I'm world champ.
yeah, actually,
1 year from today, I'm world champ.
yeah, actually, I already have Zen booked for that weekend. So
Okay.
we'll figure out the schedules and stuff like that. Um, look, as we're wrapping up here, um, people know you, they know where to find you. Great tweets. You have a Twitch, but I don't know how often you stream.
Great tweets.
Great tweets. Yeah. That'll be like, when there's like reviews of books, like on the back cover.
uh,
That'll be
yeah.
great. Bel-Air once said
Yeah, I
great
mean, I
tweets.
do have a Twitch. I do have a YouTube. I don't post often on YouTube. I mean, I try to, but I probably will start posting more now on YouTube, since I have more time,
There's
and
a
as well as Twitch.
The
Yeah.
formula is straightforward, right? Jack and Reddles have shown the blueprint. You literally just play 3 ranked games and just post it.
Mm, yeah, kind of. I mean, I've tried it. It I think there's the viewership for those types of videos is definitely waning, but
Mm,
you look at some random guy on YouTube in Rocket League, he has like 200, 300K views on some just new idea that nobody's seen, and they're like, wow, this is great stuff. So my point of view is like I try to do stuff that's not just ranked over and over.
Yeah.
Because I just get bored of it. Whatever. I assume the viewers would as well. It's just normal. It's all that's really been. But obviously squishy. I mean, can still get 40, 50, 67, whatever, 100K views on every ranked video. It's insane.
He just
Crazy.
he got in early. He is one of the pioneers of the
Yeah.
formula, you know. I comes back to like what we're talking about with Rocket League overall, right? You got to love it if you're going to do it. If you feel like you would get bored of posting or people get bored of watching ranked games, it's like, all
Yeah.
right, I'll go a different direction. Um, but is there anything that you want to shout out for the viewer who might be watching? Where to find you? What's coming up next? Things that you're excited about in your life? The mic is yours.
I'm just gonna do the Matthew McConaughey and say shout out myself in 1 year. So you're gonna whatever on team I'm on next season, you're gonna want to be supporting that one.
You heard it here
You
first.
know what I'm referencing? That Matthew McConaughey clip where he's like, "My hero is myself in 10 years." It's 10 years later. He's like, "Who's your hero?" Well, I don't know. It's me in 10 years. You know, it's like that. It's like I'm always chasing someone. You gotta look it up if you've never seen it.
Always chasing
It's a
yourself.
good speech.
I'll get the
hmm
Matt Mick
But
10
other than
years.
that, I just shout out like my family, I guess, family, friends, Jisoo, Chief Beef, good friend of mine. Alpha Kip makes me laugh. Bel Air, good to talk ball with.
I was gonna say, am I not gonna get a shit? Well,
Yeah.
history has been made. First player on the pod. Um,
hmm
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. This will in no way impact the top 50 big board when I do it in the near future. Um,
Yeah. You can't like squeeze me, maybe squeeze me in the 49, 50 spot.
You know, I said this before we started recording. I think all things considered, because I don't know, did I tweet it or did I just talk to people where I said the hardest cuts were
You
you
tweeted it.
and Wavy.
Wavy and like one other person I forget.
I can't remember who the third was, but
Yeah.
in all
Yeah, I
reality,
saw it.
there should have been a spot for you. I
There's
think
gonna be a revised version in a couple months. I'll be on that one, I'm sure.
my intention, yeah, I don't know if you're gonna crack the top five, but you'll be on there. Um, I
Just put me above Zen, please. He did a
I'll
podcast with you, and I did.
I'll try. He really has been a kind of a slowing down over there. I don't know. Maybe he was never that good to begin with. I don't know. But
Yeah,
I wanted to not do a disservice to the Torsos and Sphinxes of the world and put them on there.
it's fair.
Scribbles was
It's
off the
fair.
board, you know.
Yeah, Scribbles, big one,
Yeah,
big miss.
but you were
Good.
tough cut. I was sitting at a Starbucks for 3 hours and my partner, she was like, "What are you doing?"
Really?
So intently just staring at my notebook, and I was like, I got to get this right. And she was like, it's really
That's funny.
it's not life or death.
It's hard, honestly. There's so many players. I think after the top 25, I would be like lost on who to put
Yeah,
because
Lost, you
it's
could
just
put
like a
Lost
guessing
on
game.
there. He's
Yeah.
no, it was
Oh
it was a
man.
tough exercise. But there will be a revised one out soon.
hmm
And you know, I don't know. I think you miss open six, so I might keep you off again now as well.
No, I was like
Yeah.
top 15 and twos like 2 weeks ago, dude, before we crash
All
out.
right, I'll take it into consideration. Um,
Thanks.
but again, thanks for coming on, taking the time, becoming a friend of the pod. And are you going to be in Raleigh?
Uh, Possibly. At
Right.
the moment, no, but possible. It depends on if GK makes it, I think. Because if GK goes, I might take Nick's spot at a house
Oh, gotcha.
because he'll be staying in the hotel, whatever. But yeah,
Oh, it's like a
I think this
placeholder.
summer I'm gonna be doing a bit of traveling.
Nice. Well, if you end up in Raleigh, I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you at the World Championship whenever you make it in the future.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
book
see
my
you.
ticket. Um,
Yeah, that sounds good.
but thanks again. I'll talk to you in the future.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.